I was 35 weeks pregnant when I learned that my baby was severely growth restricted and would need to be born ASAP. We were days away from the induction date, and wouldn't you know it, little Josephine was breech. There was no time to find an obstetrician who would conduct a vaginal breech induction. Those are rare in Northern Virginia. So I was staring down the barrel of a C-section that I desperately wanted to avoid. I had to get her head down, and I used every trick in the book to do so. The day finally came, and wouldn't you know it, she had flipped. And today I want to help you do the same. By the end of this video, you're going to know the 8 evidence-based tools that I used to get my baby head down. But first, my name is Maria. I'm a lamaze-certified childbirth educator and owner of the app Natural Birth by Echo, a free resource with all of the tips and tricks you need to make your unmedicated birth a positive one. Okay. The first thing I did was spinning babies. And even if your baby isn't breech, still do spinning babies. Their daily essentials includes a series of movements and stretches that you do every day. It takes about 20 minutes, and this routine is famous for getting your baby into an optimal position, whether that's flipping a breech or getting your baby to face your back so you don't have back labor. It also helps open your body and align your baby so birth is faster. Sometimes when labor is taking forever and ever, mom's having contractions and the baby just isn't moving, it's because the baby is in a bad position. Their head is cocked or their shoulder is caught. So by doing spinning babies, not only will you help them get head down, but you'll also help them get into an ideal position for a quick and seamless birth. Spinning babies, do it. It's easy to find on Google. You will not be sorry. Okay, the next thing I did was curb walking. This is where you walk along the edge of a curb, one foot on the curb, the other in the street. I looked a little bit weird with my belly wobbling up and down, but hey, it worked. This technique is effective for a few reasons. The first being that sideways up-down motion from the curb creates a rocking effect that helps jostle your baby downward and gets them engaged deep within the pelvis. So once they are in position, they stay in position. Not only that, but by staying upright, you also allow gravity to pull your baby down. Your baby's head is much heavier than the rest of his body, so they kind of topple over into that head down position as you walk. Which leads me into the next tool I use to flip my breech baby, staying upright. Walk, sway, stretch, whatever you do, try to stay on your feet throughout the day. And I know that that's really hard to do so late in your pregnancy, but you're almost there. So try sneaking 30 minutes of continuous walking into your day. Not only will this get your baby into an excellent position, but it's also going to prepare your body to naturally manage labor pains by releasing a protein in the brain called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And I will spare you the explanation, but basically it's going to make your brain more resilient to pain. So 30 minutes of continuous walking for a head down baby and an easier birth. The next thing I did to flip baby Josephine was forward leaning inversions. This is where you get your legs up on a couch, prop yourself on your elbows and hold that position for about 30 seconds. What this does is create room in your uterus so your baby can reposition himself into a better spot. A lot of time, if a baby is malpositioned, they don't want to be, but poor posture, too much sitting, muscular asymmetries, these things can cause a baby to get himself stuck in that breech position. So do the forward leaning inversion to open your uterus and guide your baby into a head down position. It sounds a little bit weird, but it does work. Okay, the next thing I did was lean forward. When I was eating dinner, watching TV, driving in the car, lean forward just an inch or two. This is easiest on a birth ball, so I highly recommend you switch it out with your swivel chair or sofa. And also, you're gonna wanna do this whether your baby is breech or not. No, it is not as comfortable as leaning back in the car or on the couch, but it is more natural for our bodies because we're not designed to be leaning back as much as we do. Our hunter-gatherer ancestors were on their feet constantly, bending over, looking for berries, spearfishing, whereas today, we have these big old bucket seats that keep us leaning back, ruining our posture and forcing our babies into that breech position. It is very difficult for your baby to get into an ideal position when you don't have ideal posture. All that to say, lean forward just an inch or two whenever you're sitting down to get your baby in a good position and keep your baby in a good position. Speaking of bad postural habits, crossing your legs. I love it, but it's terrible for your baby's positioning, so I had to stop. Here's why. When you cross your legs, it positions the pelvic inlet into this oblong closed position where a baby's head cannot easily fit. If you habitually cross your legs, then your baby can't engage head down in your pelvis because they can't get head down into your pelvis, so they can't fit. So stop crossing your legs right now, like immediately. I know it's hard, but pregnancy is a temporary season of life. You can stick it out for just a little bit longer. And even if your baby isn't breech, I would still uncross your legs because the pelvic inlet needs to stay wide open to encourage your baby into the head down cephalic position. The better position your baby is in, the faster, easier, and more comfortable your labor is going to be. Okay, the final tool I used to flip Josephine from a breech to a head down position was the one I loved the most, the Webster technique. Don't try this at home, kids. Find a Webster certified chiropractor near you, say, I have a breech baby, and they will know exactly what to do. I had my doubts, but my doula really recommended this one chiropractor an hour away, and I was like, it's pricey, it's a drive, but I have to try. I'll be kicking myself if I don't try everything. I went to her office, and it was actually the week of Christmas. She was closed, but I explained my situation, and I just begged her to please help me, and she was so kind. She came in just for my one appointment, and she was so pleasant. The procedure felt amazing. It was essentially a bunch of massages and adjustments, and I walked out of there feeling like $1 million, and it was worth $1 million because Josephine flipped. I had my naturalized induction, and I got out of the C-section. That wraps up the tools that I personally use to flip my breech baby. Other women have seen success with acupuncture, placing ice on the top of their bellies so the baby moves down away from the cold, or shining a flashlight on the bottom of their bellies to make the baby want to follow the light downward. And I hope you found this video helpful. If you liked it, you are gonna love my other stuff, so hit subscribe to get all the evidence-based tools you need to have the kind of birth you want, and I will see you next time.